Hello, everyone! Welcome to an episode I'm recording on July 4th. This is Northern Wind. We're going to do Quest 1. I've already done the setup. It took me about 30 minutes. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to need a better solution than baggies for the tokens, because I'm going to need like activation points and things for a lot of these. Although I may just end up using dice, which I have in this box over here, which is where I'm going to try to roll. I didn't want to have this extended right out the gate, because as you can see, this is the map for Quest 1. It is quite large. This is measuring stick from my minis. So this is the full setup. We have my 4 heroes down here. 2 of them actually start with items. Inari starts with an arcane monocle, which gives foresight, and it's an accessory type. And then Nara here, a Veil Watcher, who's the cat girl, this one right here, she starts with claws. So this video is probably going to be very long. I am going to read through the prologue out loud. The prologue is like 3-4 pages long. I'm going to read it out. And I'm going to read the quest setup for the arc and everything, because I want this to be as narrative as it would be if you were playing it. So we're going to play Quest 1. We're going to see how this goes. I think I have everything in the right spots. I might not have Encounter 2 in the right spot, actually. And I might have an extra token sitting there. Yeah. Encounter 2 goes here. And this is just an extra token that I forgot to put back in its baggie. There we go. So this is the entrance. We have a little entrance thing. This is the exit over here. This area is the Western Watchtower. This is the Old Inn. This goes to the northern encampment, to the southern encampment, and this is where my goal is. So I will have a timestamp if you want to skip my reading of this. And like I said, it'll be about 30 minutes to get all this set up, because a lot of it was figuring out the tiles. Because finding the tiles, it's a little hard to read at night in my office. I would normally have another light on, but I found out if I have that light turned on, this area right here becomes like engulfed in glare. So we have my 4 heroes. We start with one Oni Marauder right here, this is his card. I think that's the right card. We start with him, but he is back to the group and he is distracted in this. So let's go ahead and start with the prologue. Because like I said, this is a narrative game. So I'm going to be reading the prologue, which is right here. Big old giant book. So let's go. 200 winters passed in the distant reaches of Calad, where the land lay cloaked in endless snow. The empire of Soga stirred in ancient horror from its slumber. At first, the signs were but whispers upon the wind. Livestock vanished from their pens. Hunters returned empty-handed from once bountiful forests. And lone travelers never reached their journey's end. Then the silence spread. One by one, the frontier settlements fell quiet, their streets abandoned, their hearts cold. No bodies were found, no signs of struggle, only the hollow emptiness of places that had once been filled with life. Rumors crept through the land, tales of monstrous beings with brutish forms and minds not their own. Demon-like creatures, twisted and primal, glimpsed through howling blizzards. At first, these were dismissed as mere fireside fables, the mutterings of old men and the warnings of mothers meant to frighten disobedient children. Yet, with each passing year, the terror grew bolder. By the time the imperial authorities took heed, the warriors of the Katana clan, Wardens of the North, had already witnessed what lay hidden in the mountains. They spoke of horrors beyond reckoning, demonic ogres tearing into their prey with boundless hunger, feasting upon flesh while it was still warm. The people of Soga named them Oni. With the arrival of the season's first snowfall, heralding the solstice, the scourge awakens from its stone-cold slumber. Their raids grew more ruthless each year, their strikes more precise. No longer do they prey upon the lost and the weak. Fortress monasteries burned, ancient temples fall, and even garrison towns are not spared. Yet with the changing of the seasons, they vanish as swiftly as they come, retreating into the heart of the mountains as warmth returns to the land. The Empire, no longer able to dismiss the threat, has turned to its most skilled warriors for answers. The Onitaushi, slayers of ogres, were sent forth, delving into the mountain strongholds of these creatures, seeking to uncover their origins and push back the plague they bring. After decades of relentless pursuit, a grim truth emerged. These beasts do not act on instinct alone. They gather in groups, display intelligence and cunning, and serve a malevolent will far beyond what the Empire had imagined. Then came the night when the nine-tailed Empress, Grand Priestess of the Empire, beheld a vision in sacred flame. A blood-red moon rising above a holy mountain sundered in twain, a harbinger of ruin. And so it came to pass. The heavens split, and the peak of Mount Boyodo, an ancient sacred mountain, the resting place of a long-forgotten god, was torn asunder. The shattering echoed across the land, and with it came a flood of dire omens. Word spread of strange happenings in the broken mountain. Monks who had kept long vigil in the sacred valleys spoke of statues, lifelike and terrible, uncovered within newly opened tombs and shadowed caverns. Some claimed they could hear breathing from within the stone, as if something yet slumbered, and high above, upon the cleaved peak, a wound in the very fabric of the world had opened, a profane rift, a tear between realms, bleeding foul magic into the land. It did not go unnoticed, drawing the gaze of factions far beyond the Empire's borders. Now, the Empire stands at the precipice. With winter fast approaching and the Oni threat imminent, the great Kitano clan has rallied an expedition of its most seasoned warriors. They are joined by the Kishobarai, the monster hunters of the Imperial Court, and from beyond Soga's borders, mercenaries of the Adventurers Guild have answered the call, seeking glory, coin, and perhaps something more. Their charge is clear. Halt the Oni advance before it reaches the Heartlands, end their rampage, and strike at the heart of their dominion atop the now accursed Mount Biodo. Alright, and now we're going to move on to the Mount Biodo Foothills campsite. See? I have not read this, by the way, prior to this, so that's why I might be stumbling a little bit. The war camp stood in stark contrast to its pristine white snow that stretched endlessly in all directions. A cluster of tents, hastily pitched, yet sturdy against the encroaching cold, circled an old abandoned inn, once a refuge for weary travelers, now repurposed as the field headquarters of the Empire Soga's expeditionary force. The inn's weathered frame loomed at the heart of the encampment, its walls blackened by years of smoke, its beams bowed beneath the weight of time and hurried repairs. From its battered chimney, a thin plume of smoke curled lazily into the crisp northern air, vanishing into the slate-gray sky. Beyond the camp, towering pines stood sentinel, their dark boughs heavy with freshly fallen snow. The early winter wind whispered through the branches, sharp and unforgiving, carrying the scent of pine resin and distant frost. Nestled in the narrow valley at the foothills of Mount Biodo, the camp marked the last threshold before the mountain range stretched northward, an unyielding spine of jagged peaks, culminating in the ominous summit of Biodo itself. Excuse me, I need to have some water. Oh. Inside the inn, a fire crackled in the hearth, its flickering glow, dancing across rough-hewn walls and worn wooden beams. The large table at the room's center was a battlefield of its own, strewn with maps, scout reports, and half-empty bowls of food. Despite the looming specter of war, the atmosphere held an unexpected air of ease. Battle-hardened warriors, their faces lined with the scars of countless skirmishes, lounged around smaller tables or rested on straw-strewn floors, their armor half unfastened, their weapons leaning within reach. Some bore fresh wounds, the white of their bandages stark against grime-darkened skin. But they made no more fuss over them than they would a passing ache. Commander Asano stood by the hearth, hands clasped behind his back, his weathered face softened by a rare smile. Theros, a Theran mercenary, leaned casually against the wall, his sharp gaze occasionally flicking towards the door. Inari, a young commissioner and Heldrin emissary of the Adventurers Guild, sat nearby, her elegant features bathed in the firelight, her arcane monocle resting on a table in front of her. Asano raised an eyebrow at the door. I swear, Sagan must have figured out how to walk even slower. Inari chuckled softly, folding her hands in her lap. Is he always this late? Asano sighed dramatically. Only when he knows I'm expecting him. It's his way of keeping me sharp. Theros, ever the quiet one, said nothing, though the glint of amusement flickered in his lone visible eye. Batu, his hawk, perched on the rafters above, let out a low sound, as if echoing the sentiment. As if on cue, the door creaked open and a gust of icy wind swept in, causing the guildsmen closest to the entrance to shiver and groan in protest. A large man clad in plate and mail armor entered, the left side of his face mangled with scars. Brushing snow from his cloak, his dark eyes surveyed the room before settling on Asano. His serious expression softened briefly, and he exhaled. Ah, there he is, Asano said with a grin. I was starting to think you'd gone to join the bears for a nice winter nap. Sagan smirked faintly, shaking his head as he unfastened his straw cloak and tossed it over a chair. I wanted to give you time to prepare your usual complaints. Theros' eyebrows quirked slightly as he exchanged a glance with Inari. She smiled, watching the playful banter between the mentor and student unfold. Asano turned to her and gestured towards Sagan. Sagan, this is Lady Inara, commissioner of the guild chapter here. To avoid any complications with your uncle's loyalists, you'll be joining her unit. Consider it an order and a favor. Inari gave a polite nod. Welcome. I'm glad to have you with us. You've known each other a long time, haven't you? She added after a beat. Sagan nodded, his smile fading slightly, though his voice remained warm. Master trained me when I was young before I joined the Keshabarai. He took me under his wing when I had no one else. And yet, somehow, you turned out halfway decent, Asano added with mock seriousness. Laughter filled the room, the fire crackling softly in the background. Then the door swung open again, bringing with it the raised voices of guards outside. The relaxed atmosphere vanished instantly as all four turned their heads toward the commotion. What is it? Sagan asked, racing swiftly to his feet. He and Asano rushed into the cold night, the torchlight casting long shadows over the snow. A group of anxious guards had gathered at the camp's edge, surrounding a feline figure at spear point. The tension was palpable. How dare you restrain me? I could walk through all of you while half asleep. Let me pass, you fools! The creature protested, her features bristling with irritation. Sagan's eyes narrowed as he assessed the scene. The creature's ashen fur gleamed in the torchlight, her tail flickering. He moved forward, stopping a few steps from the guards, his hand resting on the hilt of his long, hafted sword. Leave, spirit, Sagan declared firmly. We have no quarrel with you. Nara's slit eyes flashed in frustration. For Marisha's sake, can you see I'm no spirit? Are all of you mad? Sagan frowned, stepping closer as he gently pushed one of the guard's spears aside. Then what are you? He asked, his tone challenging. I am Nara, chieftain of the Ashmain Mao Pride from the Valley of Light, she declared, her voice brimming with pride. The guild sent me. She pulled a guild plaque from her waist. The carved letters spelled Veteran Special Rank B. By the way, for more information on stuff like the guild and all of this, I'm going to put a link to another channel by a gentleman by the name of Rogue in Calad. He's doing a Rogue Monk in Calad is his name. He's doing lore videos where he reads through the lore of this universe, and he's already gone over like magic and the guild and guild ranks. So if you want more background on all this, check out the link in the description box to his channel. He has no idea I'm doing this either. At that moment, Asano stepped forward, his presence immediately commanding attention. His gaze swept over Nara, noticing the telltale signs of a Mao, a chimera species rarely seen this far north. Her paw-like hands were hidden beneath her cloak, but her legs and upper body shifted slightly, fur retracting to reveal more human features, save for her large feline ears and twitching tail. Lady Nara, Asano said calmly, her tone apologetic but firm. Forgive our century, they mistook you for a Nekomata, a mischievous feline spirit that frequents these lands. He cast a stern glance at Sagan and the guards before adding, though Nekomata are never as lovely as the fine lady here. Nara's expression softened, her earlier irritation melting into amusement. Lovely? Old man, I'm probably older than you, she chortled, humor lighting up her eyes. Sagan took a step forward, but the Sano raised a hand. Okay, gotta flip my page. Finally on the third of 4 pages of this. There's a lot. I like it, though. Stopping him. I rather like her, he said with a grin. Come inside, let's sort this out properly. No more misunderstandings. Nara aligned her stride with Sagan's as if issuing a challenge. She raised an eyebrow, trying to keep his expression neutral. That's one way to make an impression. Word of advice, don't make a habit of prowling around the camp unannounced. Nara let out a bark of laughter, clearly enjoying herself now. Prowling? You make it sound like I'm some common house cat. Duly noted, human. Next time I'll announce myself with a yowl. She shot Sagan a wickedly playful glance. He, for his part, shrugged, a faint smile tugging at the edges of his lips. Despite her fiery entrance, he found her company oddly enjoyable. Asano opened the door to the inn, gesturing for Nara to enter. Please, come, let's have a drink and introduce you to the rest of your unit. Inside, Nara's sharp eyes took in the room, the maps, weapons, and diversely fashioned fighters resting near the fire. She sauntered over to the table where Asano poured rice wine for everyone. Handing Nara a cup, he turned to the others. Well then, now that everyone from the unit is present, let's begin, Asano said, his voice steady as he addressed the dozen guildsmen assembled before him. Tomorrow, we set off further north, he continued, his tone growing more serious. The territory splits into 3 main paths, each infested by different ogrekin. We have no more than a fortnight to complete our task. For now, we remain at a fair distance from their active grounds. If fate wills it, many of these monsters should still be in their slumber this time of year. He let the words settle before pressing on. Our goal is to swiftly reach the summit of Mount Biono, destroy their lair, and gather as much intelligence as possible on the rift splitting the mountain in half. As agents of the guild, the latter falls to you. You are under the command of the guild's commissioner, Lady Anarian, and will work in unison with 4 Katana clan units, seasoned warriors, hunters, and ogre slayers, alongside 2 additional guild units of the local guild chapters. 2 of our units are on night watch, he added, glancing towards the door. Your sister unit has already gone ahead to scout the foothills. Once we regroup with them, your unit will take the front, leading us through whatever arcane corruptions linger in these infested lands. He offered a brief, knowing look towards Nara and Anari. To avoid any unnecessary friction among warriors of differing loyalties, all off-duty personnel are to keep their primary arms stowed within the inn. Only those on active watch may bear their field weapons. Asano's tone lightened as he lifted his cup. Now rest, and bond over drink while you may. A faint grin tugged at his scarred features. Tomorrow, we march to the battles ahead. Anari, who had been watching the Mao chieftain with growing curiosity, finally leaned forward. The eye behind her monocle studied Nara intently. I've never met a Mao before, Anari admitted, curiosity dancing in her gaze. Nara flashed a toothy grin. Sagan exchanged a glance with Theros, then turned to the quiet Fenrin, hoping to keep the conversation going. How'd you end up here? Work, Theros replied in his usual unhurried tone. You work for the guild? Sagan pressed. Yep, Theros continued, offering no further explanation. Sagan took the hint and turned his discussion back to the others. Nara, however, was not finished. She flexed her clawed fingers, extending a razor-sharp claw that stopped mere inches from Sagan's face. Then, with a ripple, the fur on her hands retracted, revealing smooth human-like skin. Anari's eyes widened as she adjusted her monocle. Remarkable. Nara shrugged, though pride gleamed in her eyes. Sagan sneered. Careful, Commissioner. She'll be showing off all night. As evening wore on, the outside threats seemed muted by the warmth of the fire and their glowing camaraderie. Asano shared a few stories from his earlier battles, but eventually he excused himself. My body isn't what it once was. I'll leave you young ones to your devices, Asano said, standing. Tomorrow, we move. Be ready. He clapped Sagan on the shoulder before stepping out into the dark. With Asano gone, the group's conversation shifted to lighter topics. Sagan, who had been sipping tea, swapped his cup for a mug of ale, raising it toward Nara with a grin. Maybe something stronger will help shape out the frost. Nara laughed, but it was Theros who cracked his knuckles. How about a round of Flint? It's a game we play back home, he said, his grin mischievous. Sagan smirked. Fun, huh? Wouldn't have pegged you as the type. Theros grinned. There's more to Therian than shadows and assassins, Sagan. We work hard, but we play harder. He quickly explained the rules. Each player hides an object on their person, and the others must guess its location. The twist, misdirection, and a bit of searching, Theros added with a wink, were encouraged. The loser drinks or tells one truth about themselves. The game quickly became lively. Nara threw out wild guesses, while Inara's sharp intellect steadily narrowed down the options. Sagan, to everyone's surprise, proved a master at hiding objects in plain sight, while Theros, Evan the Rogue, misled them all with ease. You're a natural at this, Sagan, Inari remarked after one particularly close round. The fire burned low, and most of the soldiers either drifted off where they sat or quietly made their way to their tents. Sagan leaned back, feeling unexpectedly content. This is a good way to end the night, he admitted. Theros nodded. Next time, we'll raise the stakes, and Nara won't be allowed to cheat, he added, rolling his eyes. Laughter filled the room once more, and for a brief moment, the looming threat of the ogres seemed distant. But as fatigue took hold, one by one, they retired to their tent and drifted off to sleep, lulled by the crackling fire and the howling wind. The peace, however, was short-lived. Sagan awoke with a start, his instincts blaring as the ground beneath him trembled. He shot upright, the remnants of sleep vanishing instantly. A distant conch horn blasted through the camp, followed by frantic shouts and the unmistakable clash of steel. The brightness outside wasn't from the rising sun. The camp was ablaze. Ambush! Someone screamed outside. I can't really shout loudly. My wife is snoozing. It's like almost 8 o'clock where I am. Sagan's heart pounded as he leapt to his feet, his armor, lightly undone for comfort, instinctively reaching for the sword that wasn't there. He cursed under his breath, remembering their weapons had been left in the inn. Across the room, Inari was already awake, her eyes wide with alarm. We are being silenced. I cannot use my weaving, she said, perplexed. Theros began to pull up his mask and affixed his gear and vest of plates. His demeanor remained ice calm as he muttered something to Batu, releasing him through the slit in the roof of the tent. Nara, her instincts sharp, sprang up, claws extending from her furred hands. Her ears twitched in the direction of a low cracking sound. Out! She screamed, shoving Theros and Inari toward the tent flap before grabbing Sagan and leaping out just as the wooden structure came crashing down, splintering through the canvas where they had been only heartbeats before. They burst from the tent into chaos. Flames cast eerie shadows across the slush beneath their feet, while the hulking forms of demonic ogres prowled the camp, cutting down soldiers and setting everything ablaze, thick smoke shrouding the grotesque scene. Screams pierced the air as those caught off guard fought desperately for survival. And thus begins Arc 1, Mount Biodo Foothills. The journey begins. Alright. So we're here now. that was a lot. Like I said, we're still reading some narrative, and then we're going to get to rolling some dice and stabbing some Ani and triggering things. We'll see what happens. Arc 1, Mount Biodo Foothills. The journey begins. Sagan's eyes narrowed as he took in the chaotic scene. There were more Ani than he had ever encountered, their grotesque forms moving with unnerving speed. This wasn't just a raid, it was a coordinated attack. The silence from the lookout points confirmed it. The camp had been taken completely by surprise. We need to reach our weapons, Inari nodded, adrenaline coursing through her. Let's move. Alright, so Arc 1 is designed to guide me through the mechanics of gameplay, set me on my journey before proceeding. Familiar yourself with the core rules. I've kind of read them. I've got an idea. While Act 1 serves as a tutorial, note that it does not teach you basic mechanics in detail. Instead, it will guide you through your first activations and provide useful hints and tips in understanding your game. So, Camp Raid. So, Camp Raid, campsite, Mount Biodo Foothills. I've done the setup. In the heart of the camp, where the crackling of the fire dampens the cries of the fallen, you find yourself amidst burning tents and smoldering supply carts. The once vibrant encampment, filled with resolve, is now swallowed by a relentless inferno. Through the smoke, your eyes fixate on a hulking figure, an Oni. The ogre, with ashen skin, a wild white mane, large horns, and tusks protruding from its snarling mouth, stands nearly twice the height of a man. Yeah, actually, he's pretty big. Let's see. It seems to revel in the chaos, feasting on the remains of fallen warriors scattered around it. The realization hits you like a hammer. The camp is lost. The defensive lines have crumbled, and you cannot tell how many are still alive. You survey the area desperately for a weapon, but find none. Worse still, a strange presence permeates the air. You sense an invisible barrier, an enchantment that hangs thick in the air. It severs any connection to the arcane, choking off the flow of magic entirely. That's important because Inari is our mage, and Nara also has magic. Nara is actually a necromancer, weirdly. Panic claws at your mind, but you force it down, focusing on what is important. You need to move, find your bearings. Navigating the chaos, you start to weave through the burning wreckage. So, I did the setup, which was placing the tiles, placing the heroes on the entrance, placing encounters 1, 2, and intrigue 1, as indicated, and placed 1 Oni Marauder, boop, facing west, or facing away, basically. Because we assume this is north, that's west. And then we assigned the following upgrades. Sagan and Theros got nothing. She got claws, and she got a monocle. And we'll have to figure out how all that works. The quest rules. So there's a page here, quest rules. Spells cannot be used, and the chaos deck is not used. There is a deck over here called the chaos deck. I am not entirely certain. I think it's this purple one. You can't see, by the way, but over here, I have all the decks of cards. I could actually fit them on the table now that I think about it. So, like, there's this deck. I believe this is events, this blue one. And then this green one is all sorts of items. So there's tons of decks of cards. But I have them off to the side. I'll leave them here. Put them on the table. Ain't gonna hurt nothing. And while I'm thinking about it, let's put this away. I also have the rest of the minis on a tray, magnetized. I have it's a whole ass thing set up over here. We're just gonna roll as best I can. And I will be referencing the rulebook a lot. There are more cards. There are enemy behavior cards, which are here. They're over here. And then there is a ton of enemy cards, leveled up versions of these characters, because these characters can, in fact, level up. There's, in fact, upgrades. For instance, Inari apparently can go light or dark. I don't know what that means, but Inari here can eventually go light or dark. All of these have multiple final upgrades or final levels. So yes, I have my save slots over off to the side as well. Now, funnily enough, there's a couple things. We're not using pretty much any of these as far as I know, except maybe items. And we're not using Chaos. We're not using the Moon Dial, which is like a timer. This game has timing once you get to basically Quest 4, I believe, is when most of the stuff gets added. The quest ends if all heroes leave the field through the exit symbol. So if I can get these guys to here, I win. So we begin playing. All hostiles are encountered. Okay, okay, so now I need to understand. I move, but how do encounters work? So I have my whole book here. So let's see. Set up quest rules, hostile modification encounters. When progressing the quest locates unknown situations, encounters are primarily return from reading them in advance. Encounters triggered as soon as a hero moves across a space containing the corresponding encounter token. So once my guys move here, we trigger 1. Here we trigger 2. This requires an action, so I'm probably going to come this way, I guess. So that's how encounters work. Intrigues are optional challenges. This is an intrigue token. they are not triggered automatically, I have to perform an interact action or use a perception action as directed at the space with the intrigue token. So I'm assuming, yeah, there is actually rules for that. So he's here, he's distracted, and apparently, as long as we don't get near him, he doesn't activate. So we can literally avoid him. Oh, okay. Okay. So I see. So, how does activations work? So everyone gets a number of activations equal to their stamina score. So these all have a stamina of 2. You can tell that. You can't really see it, but I'll show you on the card. It's the number 2 at the top on the left. That's your stamina up there, that 2 for Nara. All the heroes have a stamina of 2. That means they get 2 full activation points. And you can use those points to activate each model up to 2 times, and each activation gives you a movement and an action or a special action. I already knew all that because that was in the base rules. So let's see how we want to do this. I can activate them in any order. So normally, what I should be doing is they should all have a token. Book there. They're little stamina tokens, and he gets 2 stamina as well, but facing matters, and he is not looking at us. So I guess these are supposed to be the activation tokens, the little gold ones, I believe. I have too many tokens, and that's what I said. I need to Yeah, see, they match the stamina symbol. That's how many activation tokens. These are actually used in the skirmish game as well. So, importantly, I have a full set of, normal-ass tokens, which is very helpful. He's not going to matter, though, because he ain't going to do shit until I get in the same square as he is, apparently. So, that's fine, because I'm not going to bother him, because I can go up and over. I don't need to bother the hungry boy. He can be over there. He can chomp. I only have 1 weapon on the board right now, from what I understand, because nobody has any inventory. And yes, inventory is important. She has claws, which are a melee weapon, and I believe they have a weight of 1, possibly. And she only has 4 inventory slots. So my only weapon right now is my cat. The monocle is not a weapon. The monocle does something else. So I need to double check how distracted works. That might be all the... Is that all the stamina tokens I have? It's hard. Yeah, I definitely need a different... no, there's another stamina token. I definitely need a different... There's a stamina token. Method for storing all of these fucking tokens. Maybe one of those, maybe a bead box. You know? If you've never seen them, they're little boxes you can get. They're, designed for storing beads. He gets 1. There's another. He gets 2. You can get, bead boxes. And they're very handy. I might need to get one for this. Because there are so many tokens. Because there's that bag. There's this bag. There's this bag, which has, dudes in it. And then there's this bag, which has fate tokens. So I have a lot of fucking bags, but these 2 are the important ones right now. Okay, so how does movement work? I dropped a thingy. Oh yeah, let me put that back. Okay, so how does movement work on this game? Distance and measure, reroll, dice rolls. We're not worrying about rolling yet. We're going to worry about, in Northern Wind, the field is constructed with tiles, which are divided into spaces marked with a... Yeah, it's hard to see, but there's a tiny symbol in the middle of each of these. These symbols are lined by white. Adjacents are connected by thin white lines. Yeah, okay. spaces. This is measured in X spaces. Okay, so you can't move diagonal. So you can move up, over. Okay. Okay. So the movement score, Nara has a 3, Theros has a 3, Sagan only has a 2, and Inari has a 2. So they can move up to a number of spaces equal to its modified speed and can move freely within each space. And they have full line of sight around themselves. Okay. How do I tell how many space slots they have? It says each square has a number of space slots. The number of models and the corresponding. Number of slots. The sizes and the number of slots. Yeah, but how do I tell how many slots they have? Okay. It's this. It's this little gold. So this says 2. So only 2 models can fit any slot. These are 4. These are 3. Only 3 can be in one square here. These are 4. I apologize if my head gets in the way, because I have to lean over. And I'm pretty sure this is going to be... Oh, this one's 3. Okay. So that's fine. So we can move. And if I remember correctly, like I said, so we have phases. Well, first we have an active and reactive phase. So right now, I am the active player, and the hostiles, this guy, is the reactive player. However, the distracted hostiles, they do not follow their hostile behavior. They stop being distracted if attacked, or if they share a space with a hero. So right now, the hostiles ends its turn in a space with a hero. It stops being distracted and can use its behavior in the next turn. So as long as I don't get in the same square as this Yahoo, nothing happens to me. So, okay. So, we're going to start with Nara. And so Nara's going to spend an activation point. So Nara's going to spend one of their activation points. Just going to kind of make a little pile over here. And I'm going to declare a normal movement. So first would be the strategic phase. We don't have any of that. Mm-hmm. Next would be the upkeep phase. We allocate the activation points to all the models that would get them. Both active and reactive. Importantly, so if you've ever played Infinity, you'll know that Infinity, you have an infinite number of reactions. So in Infinity, if this guy could see anybody, and he's facing away, so he wouldn't even be able to, and anyone moved, as long as he could see them and draw a line of sight to them at any point during their movement, he would get a reaction move. However, in Infinity, he could just keep doing it. He would get it for all 4. In this game, both Skirmish and in Northern Wind, you spend your AP to make reactions. So I have 4 heroes, and he's here. He could only ever react twice. So, if I got somebody up in his face, and then they attacked him, and then he reacted to the attack, which he could, he could only do that twice. And then I could just freely dogpile him. So, unlike Infinity, this is a little more fair in my opinion because you have to be more strategic in how you use your reactions. We would then have a chaos phase, but we don't have a chaos phase. Now we have the tactical phase, which is where we move and move. Okay, so we're going to move my cat. She can move up to 3 spaces. And the instant she touches here, she's going to trigger the event. And obviously my goal I want to get down here. I want to get a bunch of my peeps here to trigger that. Because I don't know what that is, and that seems important to me. So, okay. So for movement, we're just doing a normal movement. We just moved 3 spaces. So I would go 1, 2. So I activate Encounter 1. Encounter 1. Right here. So I get to read Encounter 1. Rounding the corner, you encounter debris of shattered carts and fallen bodies. Another grim scene unfolds before you. To your left, amidst the chaos of battle, a colossal ogre unleashes its savage strength upon a warrior. You exchange tense glances with your party that motion for silence and gesture stay close. I will now place another Oni Marauder on space number 1, which is way up here. Okay, so I have one more Oni Marauder model. This guy. And he's facing west. So he's doing this. And he is way the fuck up there. That triggered Encounter 1. So I only ever trigger that once. Encounter 1 is now done. So I can put it back in my little baggie. Okay, yeah, we're not killing any of this. I don't have to fight. I don't know how leveling works, and there's no XP stuff. Each hero leaving the Encounter 1 space must perform an agility or inch roll. On a fail, they start using hostile suspicious. Okay. So, so I actually need to keep that 1, but I'll remember this is 1. The instant Nari leaves, and she's about to, he's going to start doing stuff on the hostile turn if I fail an agility or int roll. So what is her agility? It's 12. Her int is 13. Okay. So this is going to be rough. Okay. But importantly, it won't happen until the hostile phase. And I get all my activations for the hostile phase. So let me check how that works. I'm pretty sure I know how this works. Doing tests. It's a basic roll. I'm pretty sure I know how this works because my understanding is it's very similar. To perform a successful tribute, you roll a one-sided d20, and I just need to get equal to or lower than the modified attribute. And there is no modified attribute right now to Nara. So Nara's going to move here. And facing is important. So Nara's facing here. That was her 3rd square. She went 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to choose... Her int is the best. It's a 13. So I'm going to try to get a 13 or less. I do not. Okay. All distracted Oni Marauders will now start activating. That's bad. Okay, she would normally have an action. She cannot perform an action. She doesn't have an action. I don't think running. There's running a special. But she's just going to use her other activation point to move into this square. Okay. So, everyone is now going to, on my hostile turn, oh, Jesus. Okay. So on my next turn, both of these yahoos are going to start moving 3 spaces. Thankfully, these are not adjacent. This is adjacent. The white lines indicate adjacency. So him has to go like 1, 2, 3. He, on the other hand, is going to go 1, 2, 3. So Nari's there. I don't have to roll any more agility or int because I failed already. God help me. You know, a 19 would normally be a good roll, but no, not my first roll. We're not doing that. And Ari's going to be fighting, possibly. All right, Theros is up. He's the guy with the Borb, and he's got a move of 3 as well. So his first is 1, 2, 3, and then 1 for his second. That's his 2 points. Sagan will go and get in there as well, but now these can take 4 people as well, which is important. And the important part is they will move to the closest hero they can see. Activate expend 2 to move 3 spaces towards the closest hero. Okay. And they will spend both their AP to move 3 spaces. So they're going to burn all their AP to move 3 spaces. Their normal AP is only 2. Or their normal move is 2. And then Sagan and Inari both will spend theirs and end up in here. But now, Inari's going to be last. And this is important because Inari can now perform the interact action. And then each hero in the space rolls a T. So we have a T of 8, a T of 13, a T of 11. So I'm going to do it when Inari gets there. With at least 3 heroes, one of these heroes may perform the interact. So we made it to Intrigue 1. And it says, amidst the rubble, you spot the Sano, pinned beneath the mountain, or pinned beneath the remains of a collapsed watchtower in here. However, his body is motionless, but a faint groan suggests he might still be alive. Time is running out, and you feel a surge of urgency at the sight. You and your companions muster every ounce of strength to free him from the crumbling weight. When at least 3 heroes are on this space, I got all 4. One of these heroes may perform the interact action. Then each hero in the space must roll T. So I can do it once 3 of them are in. I'm not going to do it when Sagan gets in there. But I will have Inari. So how this worked is Sagan used 1 to go 1, 2. And then he would have an action. He can't do anything. So he uses his second AP to go 1, 2 for his move. Because he only has to move a 2. He could then do an action. Yeah, and I don't want to do this when there's only 3. Because if 2 of them fail, Asano dies. It doesn't say I can do it more than once. So I would say I could do it more than once, but so Nari would again go 1, 2 per 1, no action. 1, 2, and now she could do the action. She's going to trigger the interact action, and all of them can roll T. So we're going to start with Nara. She has a T of 12. She got a 7. That's a success for her. If at least 2 succeed, I'm good. A 10 for Theros. That's lower than his 11. That's good. That's the 2 successes. I don't need to do the other 2. I got 2 successes. Okay? I rolled less than their T score. So a T of 12, I got a 7. A T of 11, I got a 10. But just for fun, what would Sagan get? Sagan gets a 17 and would be a failure. I believe that's actually a 20. No, that's a 1. That's actually great. Weirdly enough, in this game, 1s are great. So she would succeed. So 3 succeed, 1 failure. Wouldn't matter. But I got what I needed. So we get to read the secret log A01, which is page 116. Okay, where are the page numbers on this fucking thing? Oh, there they are. 116. Let's flip to 116. Secret log. Okay, camp raid. Secret log A01. Oh. Wait. Secret log. With combined strength, you heave the collapsed timber just enough to drag Asano to safety. The debris crashes down behind you with a deafening roar, sending a cloud of dust into the air. Asano blinks weakly, regaining his composure. Suddenly, a monstrous bellow rends the air. The beasts, drawn by the commotion, are closing in. You need to press forward to the regroup point at the old hilltop temple, Asano says hurriedly, pressing a map into your hands. I'll rally the survivors and follow. You tighten your grip on the map, meeting Asano's gaze. Urgency burns in his eyes. Stay safe, Commander. We'll meet again soon. With a firm nod, the son straightens, regaining his poise. With haste, he urges, drawing his blade, his voice strange but resolute. The ogres are coming! Without another word, he vanishes into the chaos. So I receive an A fate token. So I gotta get my A's. And all of these guys would suddenly become suspicious anyway. So I failed here, and they became suspicious, so they're not going to start chasing me. But, because I completed this intrigue, yeah, okay. That's fine, because our goal is to get here. As long as I make it here, I am going to need the Ogre Marauder card. Ogre Marauder card. Target priority closest enemy. Special activate first. Use demon if able. Okay. There's 2 Ogre Marauders. So I got my... I'm getting these out. These are my active and reactive cards for the Oni Marauders. Because they will start using this if they get to me. Sorry about hitting the mic. Okay, so that was everyone's turn as an active hero. So now we go to the Hostiles step. And because of the quest rule, Distracted Suspicious, they're going to use both their AP to move 3 places towards the closest hero. I may react against these activations. If they enter a space with the hero, they stop being distracted. And they will activate and reactivate as normal. So they both have 2. And so we go to strategic phase. I would get all my AP back. So all these guys have their 2 AP again. So, bloop. And bloop. Not a lot of fireworks tonight. I'm okay with that. Bloop. And bloop. They all get their points back. Before I play this again, I am absolutely getting a bead case for the tokens. I'm going to have to organize this shit. All of these tokens over here. I'm going to get one, like, larger one. Sucks that it won't fit in the box. I kind of wish the box had been designed for such a thing, but, you know, mo's the pity, as they say. So we go to strategic phase. We go to the upkeep phase. This was the upkeep phase. The chaos phase would happen, but we are not using the chaos deck yet, so that doesn't happen. And tactical phase. So during the hostile turn, what are they going to do? So they're just going to perform their hostile actions, right? Yeah, hostiles. Each hostile has hostile behavior. Right now, they're going to move 2 spaces, it said? 2 AP, move 3 spaces towards me. Okay, so they're not going to react until I get into their square. So this guy would go 1, 2, and 3. He's moving this way. This guy will turn around and go 1, 2, 3. So as long as I don't cross into their paths, we're fine. And now we need to get going this way. We need to go this way. So this is basically teaching me movement, because I could fight them if I want, but they are very strong. They have 3 armor, 4 wounds, and my best character, the only one with an actual weapon right now, is Nara. Theros has no weapon, so he would literally just... I don't even know how fighting would work with them without a weapon, actually. She can't cast spells. She has a monocle, which was giving her foresight, which I don't know what that does, actually. It just says 1 inventory slot, no weight. So one of her slots is... okay. The claws take up nothing. The claws are no. Nara would get... And they would spend all their AP. So now we go back to the beginning. We go strategic. Nothing happens during strategic right now. Upkeep, everybody gets their 2. And then I get my activations. Now, we're actually going to start with Anari first. So she's going to spend 1. She's going to activate and move. Anari is this lady right here, this lady. She's going to go 1, 2. Because she only has 2 movement. That's as far as she can go. She can't attack. They're adjacent. These are the adjacent squares. He's fine. So she's going to pop her second, and she's going to go 1 and trigger this. Because remember, my goal is to get out of here. Encounter 2. Okay. Encounter 2. Rushing through the chaos of the camp, you arrive at the Old Inn, a place where you were relaxing in just hours ago. Its structure is groaning under the strain of flame, dangerously close to collapse. The aftermath of the battle surrounds you, but your focus is on the weapon racks at the back. Among the scattered debris lie a few forgotten weapons and pieces of equipment, but your own gear is nowhere to be seen. The only route forward appears to be through the inn. As smoke thickens and debris crashes down, the inn becomes a treacherous maze, making every step a battle against time and crumbling ruins around you. Okay. Place a common loot token on each of the spaces. This would also cause distracted, suspicious. Okay. So she has one more movement. So she went 1, 2, 1, and she has one more movement. So first, I need to place a common loot token on each of the spaces, which are these 4, specifically. I remember that much. I don't know what token's supposed to be common loot, so we're just going to put some tokens that represent common loot, I guess. I don't know which one's supposed to be common loot, actually. So, token. These are just common loot tokens now. Token. Then we shuffle the following upgrade cards into 4 face-down loot stacks. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 cards. Each one's going to have 2 stacks. Okay, so I need to go through this and find short sword and dagger. So there's a dagger. I have another dagger. We get a hatchet. So short sword. Do I have a short sword? Where's my short sword? Oh, I get 2 medicines. Okay. 2 medicines. There's caltrops. There's short bow, warp glove, shield. That's a regular sword, not a short sword. These are very clearly. Okay, I'm just flipping through the cards. These are the cards, by the way, I'm trying to find. They look very nice. I love how they look. I just gotta find what I'm looking for here. Because there's different, levels of loot. Rope, lantern. Oh, short sword. There's a short sword. So I have a short sword and dagger. I have a hatchet. I need a firecracker. What the fuck is a firecracker? I haven't seen one of those. Rope, lantern. I haven't seen a healing potion either. So there's my medicine. There's caltrops. There's short bow. There's warp glove. There's shield. Blade, ball. Oh, there's a firecracker. Okay, and there's a healing potion. So I should have 8 cards from this item deck right here. So let's look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So healing potion, firecracker, short sword, medicine, hatchet, dagger. And now I shuffle these, and I put them near the spaces, which I'm going to put them up here going... God, I don't even know, actually. I might actually put them, under the fucking things, now that I think about it. Yeah, I'm probably going to do that, actually. So I'm just mixing them up pretty good. So y'all can see I'm just shuffling, mix, and I have no idea which card is which. I have no idea. I've lost track of what I'm doing. So each space gets 2 cards. So we'll put 2 here. Because it's equal piles. 2 here. Like, 2 there. There's also some more special rules that we're learning here. These two will go here. No, please. And to here. Now, she has one more space she can move. She can't go diagonal. He's going to reach her. That's the problem. He can reach her because he can go 1, 2. No, he can't. No, he can't. Okay. So, during a hero's activation, a hero that performs a movement on tile 28A, so if somebody moves here, which she's about to finish moving, it must perform a roll during the reaction step. So, on the next round, she's going to have to roll reaction. She will move south, though. So that'll be the second move. So she went 1, 2, no action. Second action point was 1, 2. But she triggered this. Because I do want all of these. So here's how this works. A hero may claim the contents of a loot stack by performing an interact action. So, if Inari gets into one of these squares, she can perform an interact action as her action and take a stack. I want everybody to get a stack. And I think 2 of my characters can get to stacks on this turn. So, let's go ahead and move my other 2-pointer, which is Sagan. His first AP will be movement first. And he goes 1, 2, no action, and then 1, 2. So both of these two have taken movements here. Their goal is going to be the far ones. Theros can move 3. So his first one is going to be Theros. 1, 2, 3. And then no action. His second one will be 1, 2. He's going to stop here. He's going to take the interact action to pick them up. Because, is normal action or special action? Yeah. So the action step, which is what this would be, they could then take a So its action step is going to be interact. So Theros here is going to take these items. So I lose this token. I'm just going to put it over here. Theros, buddy, what are you picking up? Theros has got himself a hatchet, which is a weapon, thank God, and a healing potion. So Theros will actually have 2 items. Cool. So we know where the healing potion is. It's on Theros. That's both of his AP. And now Nara will go, and Nara's going right here. So Nara's 1, 2, 3 per step. No action. 1, 2. And then we'll take this action, and Nara's going to interact and take these. Nara gets a short sword and a dagger. God damn it. Nara, those are each 1 inventory space, and weight 1, weight 0. She's fine right now because she has 4 inventory, and I believe she can take 4 weight, is what that means. And she basically has 1 weight right now and 3 items. That's actually really annoying. I needed Sagan to get a weapon. Right now, my weapons are Theros has 1, Nara has 1. And the reason I'm doing that, the reason I know that, is on the next thing. On the next stage, we'll talk about it. So no reactions from them because they don't react yet. However, we're about to get there. So they are going to move. He's going to spend his 2 AP, so 2 for him, and he's going to go 1, 2, 3. And remember, this is 1. Nobody's near him now, but he's getting close, and he's going to go 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, during the reaction step, now I have reactions. All 4 of my dudes have to make reaction rolls. So each of them has to roll a roll of 11 to 20. They have to get stagger with a power 0 hit, which I'll have to learn how this works. So we'll start with Nara. So an 11 or 20, nothing. Okay, Nara's fine. I only care about 11 to 20s. Theros, 11. So Theros is going to have to do something. Sagan's going to have to do something. And Inari. And Inari will have to do something. So, they can react to this, apparently. The upcoming hit can be avoided by that hero performing a successful dodge. So they can all try to dodge, apparently, because they all have 2 AP right now for the reaction. And they're going to suffer a hit. But power is 0. Does that mean they don't take any damage? I don't know how that works. So we're going to have to find out how that works. So first, what is a dodge action? I know it's how they avoid. So let's look up dodging. So combat attributes. Agility rolls, I believe. So skills, traits, skill climbing, skill, traits. Okay, so how do I do dodge? Let's look up dodge. Because I'm pretty sure you declare a reaction to the hit as a dodge, right? Dodge. Shit. List of actions. Attack. Because, okay. To avoid damage, to attempt to avoid an incoming attack, they may attempt to dodge. So they all had their full reactions. They can spend 1 AP for their reaction, I believe, for a dodge. Or no. Actually, I don't think they do they? To avoid damage, the model must the model suffers non-critical hits. But they can't do that on their reaction. No, they can't do that on their reaction. Okay. Hostiles. Heroes react. Reactive models may declare. If the activated model moves on the reactive model's awareness, they perform dodge. Okay. Here's reaction step occurs after the movement step. Reaction is performed by a reactive model. The reactive model may declare its reaction react against the activated model. And this just says it must perform a roll during the reaction step, which is where we are. It suffers a hit. The incoming hit could potentially be resolved by that hero performing a successful dodge action. I would argue that, yeah, because it's a reaction happening to them. They can react to the hit. Because that's what they would do. Because they wouldn't be dodging during their active turn. Which is how they would... Yeah, so this is their reactive turn. So they can all attempt... All 3 of these guys can attempt dodges. So dodges is agility. And if they fail, they're going to suffer stagger. Okay, I got it. So each of them would have the 2 points. They could do 2 reactions. There's only 1 hit. So we'll start with Theros. He's going to try to dodge. I got a 4. That is a successful dodge for him. So Theros is fine. Sagan's going to try to dodge. He gets a 12. That is above his. He fails. And then Inari's going to try to dodge. The 14 is going to fail for Inari, I'm pretty sure. Yes. So Sagan and Inari fail. Theros and Nara are fine. So what does... So they suffer a POW 0 hit. So I need to learn how to do this. Okay. Let's look up how damage rolls happen. Okay, inventory. Quantity, spellcraft, skills, size. Let's look up damage. Ranged attack, reach, casting aura, strength, hit. Okay. Each strength resolves a hit, delivers a hit. Each hit allows the player to perform a damage roll. Okay, so where's the damage roll? Damage. Okay, so what is a successful damage roll? Yeah, I'm trying to find, like, damage roll. Melee attack. Unarmed attack. Shield damage. Shield damage. Oh, there was foresight. Wait, what is foresight? Okay. Bunch of combat traits, classes, environment. I don't know any of that yet. Damage roll. Okay, but how do I roll damage? Damage roll. 25, 48. Welcome to me trying to figure out how the hell this game works. It'll take a few times, I'm sure. And I'm sure I'm going to mess it up. Resolution step. Okay, so that doesn't tell me how a damage roll actually is rolled. 37, maybe? 36, 37. Damage roll. For every result that is equal to the weapon's power, the weapon difficulty to hit. Pow! It's POW 0. You literally can't roll a 0. Okay. So these two are going to suffer stagger. What is stagger? Let's look up index. Stagger. And they're going to suffer stagger. But I don't know what stagger is. Is that a state? 60. Oh, here we go. States. Yes, that's a state. Or it's not a state. Okay. Bleeding, blinded, confused, crippled, crouched. Engaged, immobilized, incapacitated. It just says hit 0 and stagger. But it doesn't tell me what a stagger is. Classes. Traits. Like, that's all helpful. What the fuck is stagger, though? Advanced groups. Troop solo mode. Glossary. Maybe that's in there. Like, I would assume that's a state, but like, what is stagger? Because states I've got bleeding, blinded, confused, crippled, crouched, dead, distracted, engaged, fatigue, flying, immobilized, incapacitated. List of movement. List of actions. So a bunch of actions. Rules in general. Quest failure. Yeah, so they get hit 0 and stagger, but what is stagger? So they hit with POW 0, which literally cannot hurt them because you basically roll, subtract their armor. Everything, you do POW minus armor, roll, and everything. Yeah. Literally can't get that. So what the fuck is stagger? I don't actually know what stagger does. Is it in the big book? Let's see. You know what? There's other little things too, so let's check. There's a little quick reference. Essentials. Requirements. Campaign elements. Stagger. They lose 1 AP. Okay. So these guys, these two that failed, are going to have only 1 AP, which means they're only going to get 1 move out. Okay. That's fine. On the reactive step, anybody who moves on this is still going to have to make that roll. Okay. It was on the quick reference. It's on this sheet. Back here. On the back of this sheet. Go figure, right? Okay. So, that was them. They've used up their 2 each. She was fine. These 2 failed their rolls. Our goal is to get to this exit square. So, let's start with Sagan, who only has a move of 2. And has 1 AP. So Sagan is where right now? Sagan is here. He's going to go 1, 2. That's his movement with his 1 AP. He's going to then interact with that, which means Sagan's going to get something. Sagan gets a dagger and a firecracker. Okay, so Sagan has dagger and firecracker. And that was his 1. Anari is going to go here and interact. And that's her 1. She was staggered. So she's going to get 2 medicines. So Anari gets both medicines. I'm not sure that's great. Theros and Nara can get the fuck out. And she's right here. These 2 are going to have to... They're all going to have to do the roll because they're all moving while inside of the space, which is fine. Those 2 might get hurt. Sagan and Inari being the slow motherfuckers might actually get hurt. The other 2 can make it to the exit. And I believe everybody has to make it to the exit, right? Let's see. Quest ends if all heroes leave the field through exit. So once they hit the exit, they get to leave. Alright, so Theros and Nara get to go. We'll do Theros first. He's going to go 1, 2, 3... No action. He's exiting. Theros made it out. Nara, same thing. They're safe. So Theros and Nara are now safe. They don't need any AP. They don't have to roll. They made it to the exit square. They're out. These 2 made it. One of these 2 is going to get a friend on him. Thankfully, the friend won't activate. Because they'll lose suspicion on and be able to do their actions on their next turn. So we go to the reactive step. These guys are going to move, and these 2 have to make their dodges. So everyone gets 1 AP now, because it's until their next turn. So these 2 get 1 reactive AP, and they're each going to try to do their dodge real quick. Sagan got a 6. He makes it. Anari gets an 11 and makes it, because you have to get equal to or less, and her agility is 11. So these 2 actually are going to have 2. He's going to go 1, 2. Oh, he's mad. Oh, he's friends. And he's going to go 1, 2, 3. He will actually, on his next turn, get his full activation and start using his card. However, we're going to escape. So both of these 2 get their 2 AP, and it's out with both and out with both. All right, that is Quest 1. We made it to the exit. Everybody has items. I am going to have to read how this works, but they can't trade or anything right now. So, alright, before I do all this, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to read the thing. You didn't have any combat, but you got to see skill testing and everything, and combat's very similar. So, ending. As the road winds towards the base of the mountains, leading deeper into ogre territory beyond your camp, the heroes arrive at a fork in the path. To the left, deep, irregular footsteps and blood-stained snow mark the passage of a wounded ogre. To the right, on the slopes overlooking the camp, faint purple embers flicker in the fog. Anari and Nara halt, their senses sharpened. They have a barrier, Anari mutters, her gaze fixed on the winding path ahead. Nara nods grimly. The enchantment is coming from that direction. Anari glances back at the group. We have to destroy it. Our spellcasters are powerless within its bounds, and we cannot yet know the extent of its reach. But we lack the means to face them head-on, Theros adds. Sagan kneels, quickly examining the trail in the snow. The wounded beast was carrying something heavy. There were almost no arms left at the end, and I saw none elsewhere. It's possible they have looted them. Rising to his feet, he grips his sidearm and locks eyes with Anari. Commissioner, what are your orders? So we have a Fate A. If the heroes have a weapon in their inventory, I will receive Fate B. So I'll get Fate A and Fate B. So let me do that real quick. My Fate tokens are in here. Yeah, here we are. So I get A and a B, which is cool. The party gets an A and a B. Let me find A and B. Okay, so I see a B. There's a Fate B, and I get one of those. These are all going to go in the save markers and everything. So, you know, I'm going to do this correct. Where's my A's? There's another B. There's a J. Good Lord. There's an A. Okay, and an A. So I have a Fate A and a Fate B. Because I did get the secret from here. Okay. Yeah, not bad. I mean, the first mission should be pretty easy. It's just movement and interacting and rolling. Okay. Anari exhales sharply. You and Theros go left and find better gear. Nara and I will head right to find the source of their barrier. Splitting up is not ideal, but we have little choice. The group exchange glances. The decision is made. Anari adds, we will rally before sunrise at the old bridge leading to the hilltop temple. Avoid the main path. Theros meets her gaze and nods. Let's move. But before the group can move, the ground shudders beneath them, a deep, violent tremor. The ogres have caught up. High above, silhouetted against the dawning sky, a cunning, slender ogre crouches at the edge of a cliff. With a cruel grin, it leans forward and shoves a massive boulder loose, caring nothing for friend or foe alike in the camp below. Your eyes dart between the charging marauders and the falling stone. The boulder plummets, crashing into the ground with a deafening impact that shakes the narrow trail. A cloud of dust and debris rises, and the path crumbles beneath its weight. The way back is lost. Your party is split, isolated, and alone. So, Sergen and Theros will proceed to On the Ani Trail, while Anari and Nara will proceed to Breaking the Barrier, which are quests, I guess, 2 and 3? Oh, God. Okay, I'm going to have a split party thing, so I have 2 different quests to do. Okay. All right. So, this isn't too bad. It did take a little bit. I got to admit the rule, like, having staggered be here in, like, one book, then, like, you know, all this, it's kind of a whole thing. But, yeah, I will say it's kind of a table hog. I don't know. Like, let's take a look real quick at the map that I'm going to be doing for On the Trail. So the map for On the Trail is a lot. On the Ani Trail, the map is a lot simpler. So should fit here. And then the map for Breaking the Barrier, similarly sized. So entrance, exit. So yeah, these won't be too bad. Next video when I do this, I'll be doing it on the Ani Trail. I will only be doing it once I have sorted out the token situation, because I gotta do something with all the tokens. So I'm going to put the fate counters with Nari, just to have them. But yeah, that was Quest 1 of Northern Wind. I'm excited. It's very narratively driven. I liked all the narrative. I will continue to read the narrative bits. I'll try to play this more during the day when I can use the natural light. Like I said, it's late at night. I just got it in my head to really do this, so this didn't take as long as I thought it would, though. So, yeah. Thank you so very much for watching. If you have any questions, if you think I did something wrong, please let me know. I'm pretty sure I handled this correctly. Since the roll has to happen in the reactive step, they get their reaction to it, because it is something they can react to as long as they have the AP. I really am annoyed, though, that this triggered right here. It would have been much better if it had triggered here, because then these two would have been way back here, and I would have been here, and they never would have gotten this close. But obviously, speed-wise, unless you're dilly-dallying, you should be able to just get the fuck out. Like, they're placed far enough away that they're gonna chase you, and this was the only chance. But he spent both of his AP, and he wouldn't get a reaction until his next turn. So he wouldn't actually start reacting, per the rules, until his turn. Had he gotten a reaction, what could he have done? What would his reaction be? Melee attack. He would have tried to hit people. Yeah, he would have tried to just bonk somebody with his melee attack. That's all he would have done. Which, granted, for him is an offensive 14. And his War Club is powers T+4, which is 19. So, minus my armor, he would have aimed at, I think that was Sagan, who has 5 armor. So he would have been rolling a 14, so, against the armor for the calculation. So that would have been the whole thing. All right. But as always, thank you so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. As I said, I will do more of them. Until next time, take care. And I'll catch you later.